Ajahn, thank you for today Dhamma talk, and it was inspiring. And my question is, we here actually, I was reading this Wisdom Develop Samadhi book, and actually, it is to understand more how to do vidarsana. And I know the samatha and both exactly where is the beginning point, and from where we have to start the vidarsana. And without samatha, without developing samadhi up to some extent, uh, can we understand the true Dhamma by only doing vidarsana? That is my question, Ajahn. And my second question is, what is Nama Rupa?
Well, Nama Rupa means mind and body, mentality, physicality. Your first question, the book title answers your question. Wisdom develops samadhi. So you are asking, can you practice vipassana without samadhi? Well, you have to start somewhere, don't you? The starting point is right here, right now. Wherever you are in your life and in your practice, that's your starting point. But the idea is that wisdom develops samadhi is, for some people's character, they're more inclined to contemplate, and their reflection or contemplation leads their practice. They tend to be people who like to investigate the Dhamma, the teachings, they're curious. But here we're talking particularly about meditation, so it doesn't just mean investigation as in reading a lot, comparing notes, reading and learning from the text alone. That's a good start, but we're talking about meditation. So in meditation, actually allowing wisdom, panya, the wisdom faculty, to guide or lead the meditation. And that book that you just held up, particularly begins with the contemplation of the body. Looking at this human body, bringing it up, the 32 parts of the body in the traditional way the Buddha described the body, the different component parts of the body, the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, and water, going through your body, but in a meditative exercise, of contemplating with as much mindfulness and non-distraction as you can maintain, with effort, with interest, with rapture, with joy, with happiness, directing your attention back to the body, to contemplate it, to see these characteristics of impermanence, suffering, not self. And of course, there's many aspects to a human body, many parts, many angles you can look at it from. So it's that thoroughness or completeness that is a way of training the mind. You keep coming back to investigate the body, partly asking questions, partly just observing, knowing the body as it is, until doubt about the nature of this body starts to dissipate, subside. And with that also the kind of blind attachment or identification with the body as a self, as a fixed physical self, as a being, a person, starts to disappear. But as you do that, then of course you're letting go of the 5 hindrances as you do it, slowly or quickly, depending on your effort and how things are going. Of course, it varies from person to person, but the various factors of samadhi start to arise as you practice in this way. And your mind may actually merge into samadhi by the end of this contemplation. And so one gets back to the point where, some people, they are cultivating samatha meditation first and then leading off after that into vipassana, cultivating wisdom, wise reflection, and so on. Other people begin with their reflection and investigation of the body, but it develops states of samadhi. And the mind merges into samadhi, and the factors of samadhi and jhana can arise. But we say it's wisdom-led samadhi. It was the mind led into that, or went into that through the contemplation of the body. So it's just another aspect or another angle to look at in the practice, to experiment with, and it will depend on your character, what really helps you to calm down, settle down, let go of attachments, hindrances, distractions, sleepiness, everything. So you have to find out for yourself through doing this practice.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu Lungpo. We have another question in the chat box. Sometimes during meditation, I really struggle to spread loving kindness through my body because I feel blocked. How do I overcome this?
Just relax. Keep relaxing, keep letting go, keep bringing up the thought of loving kindness over and over again until it's there, until it sticks, until it's very clear, prominent, and the more prominent it becomes in your consciousness, then accompanying wholesome qualities such as sukha vedana, and piti will arise too. You know, you'll develop some of these factors of samadhi, you'll enjoy it more, and some of this positive good energy of samadhi with metta, with the thought of goodwill, will start to flow around your body. So it's like, you know, what is it? Unblocking a drain or a sieve or a filter or any of those kind of jobs where you have grit, dirt or some gunk and blocking your filter, your drain. You need to scrub a bit, you work at it, or you just put more and more water through it until the blockage starts to disappear, and then you get a nice clean flow of water. It's a bit like that. You know, of course we have blocks in the beginning where we have all kinds of angry memories and thoughts and feelings and emotions about ourselves, about other people, and you sit down to practice metta and all you can think of is how much you hate your neighbor, your friend, your family member, yourself. That comes up first because that's what we're used to. You know, we're not always used to metta, we're used to being angry and upset and irritated and annoyed. So you have to work with that. That's the blockage, that's what you have to unblock through the practice. And it's very cathartic and it helps you to let go, but it may take time and effort. So you have to be very patient and not give up and not give in. And that's part of the obstacle, isn't it? If you have negativity, anger, ill will, hatred, it deflates you, it takes away all your energy. You feel like you can't be bothered, you don't want to do anything, so you stop. That's the whole point. You have to keep going, not give in to the hatred, the ill will, the anger, the negativity, but know it. So you're becoming more mindful, you're recognizing habits of mind, tendencies, things you've seen before, and now you're saying, no, I'm not going to just give in to the negativity or the anger. Now I'm going to keep bringing up the mindfulness and bringing the mind back to the metta until the metta is established and the negativity and anger fades away. However long it takes, doesn't matter. You know, if you've got a blocked drain and you know in your house, you need to use the sink, the toilet, the whatever it is that's blocked. You just have no choice, do you? You have to keep doing it. You maybe call in the plumber. It's like going to hear another Dhamma talk. You bring in the plumber, or you get yourself a tool. It's like trying different meditation techniques and different applications until you've cleared the blockage. And don't give up.
Sadhu Lungpo. Next question here is, Dear Lungpo, I have read that Ajahn Lee recommended for Sangha and maybe laity to give away 1/3 of what we get. Can you explain how this would work in practice? Do you think that Sangha should take extra at dana time to specially give away to animals? Thank you.
Well, these are just general guidelines, aren't they? I mean, sometimes you might not even know whether you've given away 1/3 of your things or half or 25%. Does that mean if you only give 25% instead of 33.33%, suddenly you're not practicing properly? I'm not sure it's as simple as that, is it? He's giving guidelines. So he's saying, don't give so much that you struggle, or your family or the people around you struggle. That might be giving away 100%. A few individuals might be able to give away 100%. They're ready to just give. Of course, there'll always be some people who are ready and able to do that. But 1/3 may be a manageable amount. He's giving you a guideline. But if you can only manage 5%, okay, better than nothing. You see what your life situation allows, what your level of faith, interest, energy allows. And, sometimes you give more, sometimes you give less. But he's giving you a guideline that basically as human beings, we take more than we need, don't we? We've all got stuff in our houses that we don't use that we could really give away or share. Even food, even monks, we eat 1 meal a day, and you quite often end up with more food in your bowl than you need. It's just natural, especially in this day and age with a lot of material success and wealth in the world. We tend to consume more than we need. So he's giving you a reflection. Practice giving away, and 1/3 may be a good starting point, and you work out, well, is it going to be exactly 1/3, or some people maybe can give away a half, or even, if you're really rich, maybe you can give away 90% and still have a very comfortable lifestyle. Or in certain situations, you may give more than 1/3. In other situations, in other circumstances, you may give less than 1/3. It's not going to be exact. But he's giving you an idea what to do. That basically we need to share more, and it's liberating, isn't it? When you share, you give, you're liberating yourself from your own attachment, stinginess, obsessions, and you realize, maybe I can get by with a lot less. And you get the joy of giving, and other people get the joy of receiving, and you're helping maybe other people who need help. It's something you have to experiment with. Just like meditation, you experiment with meditation techniques and so on. Giving and sharing, you also have to experiment with and see what works and what helps. But as a general guideline, we could probably always give a little bit more. More of our heart, more of our time, more of our things, material things. We generally can give more than the mind will let you know. The mind is biased, the mind is attached, so it's always got a good reason not to give away. So sometimes you have to practice making yourself give more than you would really like to. Go the extra length of the extra mile, do the extra thing that your mind is more conservative or more self-centered, saying, I don't want to do that, or I can't be bothered, or no. There's a part of your mind will be saying no, but then there's another part that says, no, go on, do it, it will be good. So this idea of 1/3 is just giving you some guideline, and some people find that helpful. So you say 1/3 I'll give away. So if I've got 3 parts, I'll give away 1. And maybe later you can give away a half, or maybe sometimes you only give away 1/10. Who knows? These things may never be fixed, but it's giving you a guideline. You have to use that skillfully.
Sadhu Luang Por. Next question. Luang Por, you are traveling to various countries. We want you to visit Sri Lanka as well. We can make arrangements, paying kindness towards Sri Lankan people. We invite you to visit here too. How to proceed with the arrangement? Thank you.
Oh, I give kindness to Sri Lankan people every day of my life because there's lots of Sri Lankan people in Melbourne and lots of them come to the monastery. So maybe I don't need to go to Sri Lanka. Yeah, the world is a big place. Luckily, there are many monks already in Sri Lanka, many good Buddhists, Sangha and laity in Sri Lanka. So that's maybe one excuse, I guess you could say, is that, well, where there are already people practicing and Sangha and laity there practicing, well, that's good. There's less Sangha in Australia, less in this part of the world than Asia, say. So maybe that's one reason why I would spend more time in the monastery and in this part of the world, because there's a need. I may well visit Sri Lanka again one day. I've been there twice and enjoyed my time there when I did go. So I may be able to go one day, but there's many places that want me, invite me, and I can't go to them all, unfortunately. I spent most of my life out of my country of origin, which is the UK. And of course, I have family, relatives, friends there who have wanted me to go back, and I have gone back on occasions, but not that much. So part of life is like that. It's imperfect, isn't it? You sacrifice. So sometimes you would like to go somewhere to teach, help, visit. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not. Life is like that. You have to accept it. So if I can get there, I will, but I'll let you know when the time comes.
Sadhu Luang Por. And another question here. Luang Por, how can one skillfully reduce his or her own anxiety when facing with the difficult circumstances in seeing the uncertain nature of life?
Number one, practice some breath meditation every day. Become familiar with turning your attention to the feeling of the in and out breath. As the Buddha said, this is really good for dealing with anxiety. And it's a skill. So like any skill, you have to keep at it. Trust in it, trust in its effectiveness. Become a friend with your breath, and then you can turn to it any time you need, whether it's some fear, some anxiety, whether you're on your own and just proliferating about something that makes you anxious, or you're actually in a situation that you feel threatened or nervous about something. I would say number one is practice mindfulness of breathing, or other meditation objects may help as well. Number one. But number two, use some wise reflection as well. And ask questions, investigate what's going on in your mind. Where is this anxiety coming from? Is there an obvious cause? Or it may be something more remote from your past, that it's a habit that's built up over a long time unconsciously that you can't really trace back to its origin, but you've been half aware of it. Well, then you may just have to practice present moment awareness. When the anxiety comes up, it's a feeling, it stimulates certain trains of thought, try and catch that. And like you say, see it as impermanent. Even anxiety that grips you for a while, it's a mood, it's a mental state that grips you. It has a start, it has a finish. And there'll be times in your day when you're not anxious. And at those times, it could be at this very moment. If you're not feeling anxious at this very moment, witness that, become aware of that. Say, oh, it's not here. At the moment, I feel okay. That's teaching you a very profound lesson, isn't it? That anxiety that you've previously experienced is obviously impermanent because it's not here now. What's impermanent is not really a person or a being or a self. It's not lasting, it's not substantial, it's a passing event. It arises, passes away. keep that in mind as much as you can, so that next time if you are falling into the habit of this anxious thinking, maybe accompanied by certain feelings in your body, certain trains of thought, mental states are coming up, try to turn your attention to bring up that reflection. I've seen this before. It's come and it goes. It's not there all the time. Therefore, I can let it go. You're giving yourself the means to let it go by seeing it as impermanent, partly based on previous experience. You can use, it's like an accumulative wisdom that you keep applying and gradually undermining the power of anxiety to take over your mind. It may take time, of course. You can't just do it just like that. But if you keep practicing, you'll get to know yourself better. You'll know your habits of mind better, and you can get to know these states of anxiety. And you say, I know you. This is how the Buddha contemplated. I know you, Mara. And Mara can be just mental proliferation, can be fear, worry, anxiety. That's Mara. We often talk about the personified Mara, the sort of figure of Mara, the person, the being, but really Mara is mental proliferation that we get lost in and believe and become. So when you establish mindfulness and you say, this is impermanent too, that's your moment when you say, I know you, Mara. And when you really know something, it doesn't bother you anymore. You understand what it is. Oh, it's just that. Going back to what I was saying in the talk, it's just ordinary, isn't it? Anxiety is just ordinary. Yeah, we are capable of anxiety. We have instincts. We have the desire to preserve ourselves. We're afraid of threats and risks and things. So it's just normal. Sometimes anxiety will arise, but try to bring up that clarity, the mindfulness, the wisdom to know, oh, it's just normal. It's just that much. It's just anxiety. Let it be. If you keep doing that, it will bother you less and less.
Sadhu Luang Por. Are there any more final questions?
Well, maybe enough for tonight. If there's no more questions, we can leave it there, and we wish you all well in your practice. Keep practicing, listening to the Dhamma, meditating, offering dana, practicing generosity and kindness in daily life as well. And we'll see you again next week.